upam, da da je bil pravi link. Zdaj že dolgo nisem naredil, upam, da je še vedno pokonektano vse skupaj.
Yeah.
Stari tek finiki, res je, bolano je finiki.
Yeah. All right, let's switch to English.
All right, English it is. Hello, hello. Is it live? We are live. It works. It works. Absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
All right. Might as well. People are starting to join.
Yeah. Should we wait a minute or two?
Yeah. Wait for a
Perfect.
few minutes. It's been a moment since we've been here. Thank you all for joining. We are very happy to be here again. I think we have a very nice episode today. Gonna be talking a lot about Flux, all about Loras, how to train Loras, which is also a very important topic, and especially want to make it very approachable for everyone. Hello, Steve. Hello from Netherlands. Yeah, like anyone who is here, do say hello. Like where you're from, what is your time, how has your day been, stuff like that. Yeah, we want to make this very approachable. So it is for people who have a good computer, and also for people who are more on the laptop side of things or Mac side
Or
of
on Mac, yes.
yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be the episode today. We're gonna be talking about Flux Loras, how to train them. I'm gonna be looking at a few of them that are most popular at the moment, and just how you can make it your own into your own workflows.
Nate, I have a question for you.
Oh yeah, of course.
What was your first LoRa? What did you train?
I trained my face, and then I
Of
trained.
course, I think that everybody starts training on their faces. The thing was that I was asked a week or two ago to, send them a photo, my photo of my
Yeah,
face for an event, right? And the thing is that I didn't have any professional photos. So what I did, I just trained the LoRa. It was quicker. And I tried to put LoRa, and the results were so awesome. And when I sent a couple of images to my girlfriend, she said, "Yeah, why are you sending your selfies?" I said, "This is
damn,
not
bro.
a photo. This is AI." She was stunned, completely baffled. Yeah.
And that's the point. Also, like, hello, Jatine, Yuha, Sergio, and Alexei. Nice to see you all. And I think the phrase here for me was, it was easier to train a Laura than it was to take a photo. That is
Easier,
insane.
cheaper, and quicker. Yeah.
What a life.
And it was done in like 20 minutes. It was done. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna kind of look over today. We're not gonna do the whole 20 minutes, but just like look at how it's done, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, face. I think face is usually the first one, right? Like you just
Exactly.
also
And
the easiest.
it's the easiest,
Yeah.
exactly. I've been training products lately, and it's quite a hustle.
I've
Yeah.
I've tried it with playing cards. So I actually produced a deck of playing cards back in the years, like I don't know, 10 or 9 years ago. It was like my first physical product that I made and sold. So I tried that a while back, probably like half a year ago. I tried to like train Laura. It was it was kind of okay. I felt like after a while I was like, okay, it's fine. Like if I put more time to
Yeah,
fine tune
yeah,
it, I was like I could make it a really nice Laura. But I was like, oh, okay, it's cool. It kind of works. I'm happy with it. I have my
yeah,
product.
yeah. And it's a science for itself, LoRa trainings. And I mean, a couple of people have been doing really good job with explorations. One of them is Mr. Furkan. Probably a lot of people know him from Reddit because he's making posts every day, about 2 or 3 or 4 posts only for LoRa training. And I've learned a lot from this guy. Yeah.
Mm, yeah, nice. So shall we get into it? Like,
Yes,
should
let
we
us. All
explain
right.
even is a Laura just a little bit? Hello, Emily from Marseille. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Should we first
So,
just do a little overview of what even is a Laura?
yeah, let's. Will you do the
So,
honors?
a LoRa, it's basically a model, right? I like to explain it as a model, a smaller model trained on a concept. I think that is for me the easiest way to explain it. And then we go into what is a concept, right? So a character is a concept, a style is a concept, edge thickness is a concept, eyes are a concept, hands are a concept, right? So I think it's just about communicating the concept through the data set to the AI so it can learn it. That's how I would explain it. How would you explain it?
Okay, okay. I have a different explanation, but yeah, it's the same gist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to hear it. What's your explanation?
Okay, so it's like you know those little green thingies from Futurama that stuck on your head and starts doing its thing. Never mind if you don't watch Futurama. Yeah, so it's like a little model that tells the big model how to do stuff.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. That's
yeah,
interesting as well. That's interesting. I like it. I like that.
yeah. Very easy. So where do we get Loras? I mean, of course we can create our own, but there is a huge set on Civit Eye,
Let's
and
go.
Civit Eye is, of course, we know that a hub for models, for LoRa's, for the images, for articles, everything that is connected to stable diffusion and to flux and to different models, to other models.
And open source. I would just call it open source AI kind of.
Open source AI, very well said. Yeah. So you can get everything here. You can learn a lot. You can get workflows. You can do competitions. And lately, you can even train LoRa directly on Civet Eye.
They
But
have,
before we get to that, let's check out a couple of cool LoRa's that are very, very usable.
yeah. And these
So,
are for Flux because
yeah.
Flux has been quite a game changer in many ways. And especially like now as like it becomes more accessible to train a LoRa, there have been some really nice examples.
Yeah. So the first one is, I mean, Flux isn't very well taught on ethnicities. I've learned that when I created the Pakistan 2024 video, and a lot of people complain that Pakistanis look like Indians or Bangladeshians. Is that a word? People from Bangladesh?
Could be.
Anyway, so someone took matter in his hands, in their hands, and trained Laura based on different ethnicities. Um, so we have Aborigines, Africans, Arabians, Brazilians, Chinese, Nordic, Russian, etc. And one thing that is really, really important, and a lot of people tend to just don't do it, is every time you download a model or a LoRa from Civit Eye, check out the description.
Yeah,
Description is very, very important. Here you get hints, you get what kind of settings are best to use this LoRa or model with, and yeah, you should always check the description under the LoRa or the model.
I 100% agree. I always like to emphasize this as well, but like the creators, like they put a lot of time into developing these LoRa's and these models, and they are very generous in the information they give. Like they have tested the model, they know what are the best settings. So it really just makes life a lot easier if you just read it.
Exactly, I agree.
And
And
I think
then
it's a great example, like this LoRa, because I think AI models are just biased. Like there is just a huge bias, and this is a very nice use case. And I'm very glad somebody took it into their hands and said, "Okay, ethnicities will be represented correctly."
yeah, exactly. So the next one we have is amateur photography. I think, I mean, this is so good because you just can't differentiate between reality and images produced by those by these LoRa's. I
I
mean,
saw this on
those
Reddit,
yeah, exactly. Those seem so realistic.
and I was just looking at it for a while, and I was like, "What? What? What is going on? What the fuck is
Exactly,
going?"
right?
And I do think like you could spot some like small distortions or like some small inconsistencies if you look very very closely at everything. But even here, like there is the mirror with the reflection.
I mean, yeah, of course. but you really have to look at it very, very precisely. I mean,
Really closely, really,
yeah,
really
really
close.
close.
No,
Yeah,
it is just I'm just sold immediately. I'm just like, yeah, cool. People hanging out.
exactly. And if you would see this, not this, if you would see this photo on Facebook or on social media, you wouldn't say it's AI. It would just say it's, yeah. So
It's a
what am I
photo.
looking at, right? But the thing is that these people don't exist.
It will for
That's
me. It is. It's usually the skin and the lighting. I think those two are usually like a quick tell. They're just like the lighting is off, like or the shadows are off, like something just doesn't feel right. But here I don't think twice. I just see it and I'm like, okay, cool, that's a photo, all right.
exactly. And again, when you click on image, here is generation data, what
Mm.
resources were used, what kind of prompt, so you can copy your prompt, and the other metadata like guidance, how many steps were used, and the seed number. So you can recreate this image if you want to.
The exact one.
The exact one, exactly, yeah. The
This
next one is, of course, legendary X Labs Realism Laura.
was this the first like
This,
big
yeah,
one that popped up, right? Or was
this
it?
was actually first Flux Laura.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's been everywhere. People, I mean, we were shocked when we saw this. I mean, I was,
Yeah,
because this meant this is okay. We have achieved the ultra realism with AI with this LoRa. But the thing is that this LoRa is not the best for all use cases. It's very good for people, but it's not that good for objects or landscapes.
I think this also like kind of signals just the general like preference and bias of AI. I think portraits, like human portraits, have been trained. I genuinely think like that's like for the last year, that's where the biggest kind of improvement has been done. Just like how well humans look.
Yeah,
This is nice. It does make
yeah.
a difference. It makes a huge difference actually.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and by the way, how do you search for Loras? You go to models, you go to Civit Eye, you go to models, and then here you have filters. You click on filters, and then you check LoRa and the base model. So right now we are on Flux 1D as developer. And of course, we also have Flux 1 Schnell. And of course, if you like, you can also check the other models.
Sure.
But the rate of incoming LoRa's for Flux is just unprecedented. I haven't seen LoRa's pumping out that quick. And wanna guess why?
Because it's easy.
Because it's easy. Exactly.
Because- and honestly, I'm also it's surprising, isn't it? How easy it has become to train a
Yeah,
LoRa.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I
And it's been
remember
said that Flux model is untrainable, but I mean, days later, just boom.
it has been. I, that's the whole adoption curve as well, right? Like at the beginning, everything is difficult, but we are now at a point where training a model is very, very accessible for basically anyone that is willing to spend half an hour or maybe 1 hour if they watch a video alongside, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So here's another very nice LoRa. It's retro glitch. And yeah, here you can find the details. So how it was trained. It was trained by 2,100 steps with 5 epochs. Do you want to explain what are steps and what is an epoch?
Before that, I would also just mention that LoRa's have a trigger word. Most
Yeah.
LoRa's, I have seen a couple that don't, and they still kind of work, but
Yeah.
more or less. And this is also how I like to explain it. Of like, that is the concept, basically what I said earlier, of like you are training AI on a new concept and you're giving it a token, you're giving it a word so the AI can recognize what that concept is, right? So I think that's the first thing that's important to understand. How will you communicate your concept? So in this example, it's retro. Can you zoom in? Actually, I don't can't read the read
Yeah,
the words, but either way, like the token being the concept that you want to introduce to the AI so it can learn it, right?
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And for this one, trigger words are hack forum, scrape, posted to WhatsApp, blah, blah, blah.
what? Can you zoom into that?
IRL shot on iPhone, photo of, yeah, those are different trigger words.
Yeah, yeah. And then again, then we go into steps and epochs, right? Steps are
Yeah,
how many times it's gonna go over the process, and epochs how many times it's gonna repeat the process. Is that
yeah,
correct?
yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
And in training, you can actually, it's advised to save epochs. We'll explain that later. So you
There's,
can
mm,
you
yeah.
so you can try those epochs which are saved as safe tensors, and
Mm.
you can try them uh, as loras. You can try to use them as loras if your model is, let's say, lora is
Overfitting.
overtrained. Yeah,
Mm. And yeah, this is also, it's not exact science as people say, right? Because for example here, like there are how many, 5 epochs. That means
yeah,
like this person has like 5 different loras saved on their like computer, right? Like they trained at least 5. Like each epoch results in one LoRa. And then you go into the next epoch, the AI is already understanding the concept more. So it's about like how well is the AI understanding the concept. First epoch, kind of the first try, right? It's kind of, familiarizing itself with it. Second epoch, already better, and you go further, 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 right? But at some point, you get to a point where it's just way too hyper focused on it, when it's just like, this is the only thing that I'm doing. Like there's only
yeah,
one thing, like there's the one face. I will not rotate like nothing else. So that's when usually like it starts like overfitting, and that's why like also finding where the LoRa performs with flexibility is very important, right? Because we still want to have different like shots, different environments, and if we only can get one thing out of it, well, useful but not too useful.
yeah, yeah. And usually you have to watch out how many steps. So Flux is good from 400 to 4,000, and it's pretty hard to overtrain Flux, Laura. But it happens. It happens. If you have very um, what did you say? We are learning what
Concepts, I call them
concept? Yeah. If
concepts.
it's very simple concept, then use lower steps. But if it's something very, very detailed, you can go over 2,000, 3,000, up to 4,000 steps, and you will get okay results. But I think around 2 to 3,000 is the sweet spot for complex concepts.
Nice.
Yeah,
Mina just commented that she made her own LoRa. Low VRAM training is not so fast, but this is fascinating. She's
yeah.
really proud of herself too, because she is a total beginner. And I'm also very proud of
So,
you. Well done. Well
good
done.
job. Good job.
And I think that also just goes to show that anyone can kind of get into it, right? Like
Yeah,
one can get
yeah.
into this at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be science with 1.5 and SDXL, but right
But
now with Flux, it's so easy.
like
Yeah,
honestly, I remember like using Koya SS and just curating the data set and tagging it, and I was like, well,
yeah,
there goes my weekend, right?
exactly. I mean, tagging itself was a tedious job,
and
very
th-
tedious.
and I think the biggest part is the whole experimentation, because as we said, like it's not an exact science. Like you kind of have to try and feel it out at some point and see where it fits for you specifically, or if you're doing like a commercial sort of work, like how it fits there. And it's just easier if it takes 30 minutes to run an experiment rather than 2 days to do an experiment, right?
Yes,
So
yes, exactly. Yeah. And it helps if you have a good GPU, of course, but nowadays with all the cloud-based services offering GPUs, it's you can rent A1000 or no A100 or H100, and get the job done really, really quickly.
mm,
All right. So
all
the
right,
next
moving on.
one, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, moving on. Let's go.
Yeah, moving on. So the next one was trained on 4,000 steps with 10 epochs. And you have to use strength one because when you use Loras, you have to also experiment with between zero point 0.6 and 1, what fits best. So this Lora is 360-degree flux Lora.
That's excellent.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So the
That
thing is, you just prompt what you want to see, what you want to have, and it spreads it to a 360-degree view. And you can, of course, use that in your VR. Um, yeah,
Yep. This is an interesting and also very nice use case.
yeah, it is. So we had two Earths here. Yeah, we have one, two Earths. All right.
That's the one. All right.
Oh wow, this
Which
was this was my room in the 90s.
that is dark, bro.
Yeah. And that was your
It's
room in the
my
90s.
room light and bright. Well,
Okay, moving on to anti-blur Flux Lora. So Flux is notorious by its blurred backgrounds. Depth of field is very, very high in Flux. So it's very cinematic by default. So of course, someone stepped in and created Lora to make backgrounds a bit sharper. So this is very useful.
indeed.
Yeah. And of course, you can see that almost nothing changes. Well, with a weight of two, she changes quite a lot.
The hand
But
moves. Yeah.
yeah, but I usually don't go beyond 1.2 or 1.3 because it changes the image a bit too much. Yeah, it's the same here.
Yeah. I saw this as well. On it was Latent Vision's video. He made a video recently where he tested all the samplers, tested all the steps. He did
Yeah,
experimentation and research, and it just showed that there are like specific points in the steps as well for Flux. I think it was 25 or 35. When it just
yeah,
starts, it flips and reinvents the concept, and then it stabilizes again at like 45.
yeah, exactly. So you want to test your prompts with 25 steps or with 45 steps
Yeah, yeah,
because you get a lot of inconsistencies in between.
yeah.
All right, moving on. This is very, very interesting. So 1950s Technicolor style. So we have Flux, and I think, do we have Excel? No, we don't. Oh yeah, we have. So the thing is, when you're checking out stuff on Civitai, you get tabs uh, like here. So those are the versions. This is version point 1 and this is version 1.0.
This is a good naming.
Yeah. Um, so we have all as well the dev and the Schnell version. Do you want to explain what's the difference between dev and Schnell really quickly, Nate?
It's just the speed and the quality, right? The Chanel is just faster, uses less steps. I think usually it's 4 steps. The Dev uses usually 25, or like I mean, whatever you use. But like with Chanel, you can already like make good images with 4 steps, which makes it much faster because it's less steps, right?
But
Uh,
what's different in quality, image quality?
I mean, it's less steps slower, right?
Yeah,
That's just the way it be. But Yeah, I mean, it's still incredibly impressive. Like the Schnell one, like I'm working like with a company as well where we developed like a demo site with the Schnell. Man, like in 0.3 seconds, you get a good image, which for me is still absolutely freaking insane, man. But again, like the quality is lower than if you run like a dev at 25, right? You get the high details, you get all the like skin and everything good. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
different.
Come on, do some shameless promotion. What's
Oh,
the
it's called
yeah,
fastflux.ai and it's run
that's
by
fun.
Runware, which is, I'm very excited about it, to be honest. We're building some very nice things. Among them, also Lore training, which will be available like shortly. But um, yeah, for now, just like as a tester using the Fast Flux, it's a nice place. Yes.
Commercial rights. All right. Wanna touch that, Nate?
Commercial rights between Dev and Schnell. What
Yeah,
are they? I think.
it's very easy. You can't use Dev commercially, but Schnell you can. So if you want to build apps on the website like um, image generator, you can use Schnell and you can use it for free. But for Dev, you have to contact Black Forest Labs and pay them a fee, or I don't know. I didn't get
There's a
into it.
license, so I can
Yeah,
actually answer because this is also like for Runware because we are using Dev as well. So you do need to reach out to them, and you need to have sort of like an agreement, a partnership or collaboration, or how to call it exactly. But I think the dev is meant just for development. Literally, it's dev, right? And the one that has like commercial license is called pro, which I think is using dev, or maybe it's a little bit different. But with
it's
that, you get a commercial license with them. You have to pay something, I think, or just like have an agreement in place, and then you can use the higher quality model as for like commercial use, right?
I think that Pro has 15 billion parameters, while Dev has 12 billion parameters, if I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
wrong. Yeah,
I'm
and
not
but
sure.
also, yeah, but also the thing is that you can use images produced with Dev Edition commercially. So the outputs, the images made with you can use them commercially. That there's no limitations with that. It's
You
only
sure?
about using the model itself to make money.
To make products, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
products. Yeah,
yeah. Are you sure you can use the images?
yeah, I
Oh,
am.
cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. Brilliant. Wow,
All
they're
right.
so giving, man. That's amazing. Like
It is.
what a world we live in that you can
Yeah.
just use things for free, man.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's open source. It's called open source.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place to be, man.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Oh,
next one is the polyhedron, the legend himself. I remember when with SDXL we had very flat skin textures. So polyhedron was one of the first people who made those imperfections and spots and all this stuff that you can see in people. And I used it extensively, and I still do. With, I mean, I'm using this one now, and it's, I mean, all the little stuff in skin that makes it realistic. I mean, would you, would you? This is so
2D
good, man.
photography, man. Easier to train a Laura on the face and apply this one, and you look
Exactly.
better than ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit.
So the thing is that you can, of course, use multiple LoRa's in one workflow. We'll show that a bit later.
I think we
So
should
this
also
LoRa was
towards
trained on
the workflows.
8,000 steps.
8,000.
8,000.
Damn.
So, damn, he had to have a huge. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Does it say?
Yeah, 1,300. Trade with simple tuner.
Simple tuner. That's yeah. Not to give away too much, but that's how we are developing. That is a part of our team, the Simple Tuner, and it's super exciting, man. For me, it's just nice, like seeing both sides of like how it's built and then how it's used. I
Yeah,
like to be informed on all the on
yeah.
all the areas.
All right. We're
Great.
half hour in, so we have to hurry up a bit. The next one is, of
Yeah.
course, CCTV. It's just great. If you've seen videos from the Door Brothers a couple of weeks ago, they used this LoRa extensively. It's I love it. It adds that extra layer of realism.
Reality, bro. And just to make a quick stop, we've said this before with the amateur photography one, but like you can't tell, man. Like if you see this randomly on your feed wherever you are, you can't say, like you couldn't say. I think this is such a big thing to do. We need to have like the transparency of like, okay, this was AI generated. And I
Yeah,
see most of the platforms at this point have at least like an option of like, hey, if this was like generated with AI and it's realistic, you need to tick this. Which still, ticking a box, you kind of give it to the people, right? Some people will, some people won't, right? But
exactly.
this is already danger zone, man.
Yeah, yeah. And my opinion is that we really need regulations. We
Yeah.
need something. Yeah.
Yeah, something needs to happen about this as well. And it is. We are moving on it. Oh, nice. This is cool. I saw you
All right.
post.
Yeah. I posted this one a week or two ago. The icon maker. It's very straightforward, Laura. It does the nice image, and then it uses the Comfy UI to SVG node, and it transforms the PNG to SVG. So basically, it vectorizes your image. And the thing is that when you open it, it's not just, uh, for example, let's take a look at this one closer. So when we see the shadow here, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not one vector and this is second vector. No, this is the whole vector with one small vector inside for the shadow. So when
Wow,
you
nice.
yeah, so when you delete that shadow, you get the original shape. It's really well made. I love it.
Well done. That is a great functionality.
It is, yeah. And the same guy made. Let me give this guy some love. So
100%.
Cyclone also did the social media image generator,
Oh,
and
I
it's
saw this one.
really really good. You just say where you want to have your text, where you want to have your CTA. Do you want to have it in square, like here, and it's
This is one
really
of
really.
man. That's insane.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, these are cherry picked because not every image is perfect,
Of course.
as
No,
usual, as always. But I mean, you can do your campaign in like 1 hour, for everything.
easy.
Easy.
This
Yeah,
is this is a like thin line. Because I think when you generate an asset like this of a full asset, you just make like a social media post with text and everything, making changes becomes a little bit difficult, right? So how do you do that? Like, do you still like go into Photoshop and just like adjust it, or because the other option is you generate assets, right? You maybe generate like the image and then you generate the title, and then you put it together, right? So I
yeah.
think it's always going to be a bit of a thin line of like, do I just like knock it out in one shot, just like make the asset one prompt, let's go, or do I actually generate it like piece by piece and then I put it together? Um, yeah, just something to think about, I guess.
Well, my opinion is that every AI image should be touched a little to, elevate it. I mean, you can get really impressive images with AI,
Mhm.
but to get this really special thing, you just have to touch it a bit.
Yeah, yeah. It's good though. This is brilliant. This makes life
Yeah.
easy.
And moving on, I posted post today on LinkedIn, and I used this Laura, and I think
Indeed,
it's really
man.
really cute.
It was really good, and with the runway like slight movement, it was really
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So for your
Social media.
posts, for your ad campaigns, I think it's really good,
I would love to put this into a 3D model generator.
right?
See what happens.
Yeah.
We should do
So,
that
yeah.
after.
I mean, it took us days, literally days, to create something like this, and to get the lightning done and to everything and textures and but now you just type in your prompt and boom. I mean, again, it's not perfect. I generated bunch of images and selected like the best ones, and
Mhm.
even the best ones are not like superb quality like with 3D, but the things are evolving, man. The things are evolving. Yeah.
It is brilliant.
All right, and here is, of course, you can find workflows on Civit Eye. So if you go again to filters, and instead of LoRa, you click workflows, you will get a bunch of Flux workflows.
Hmm.
Um, so with high-res fix, image to image, in and out painting with wildcards, so like everything, detailers, testers, upscalers again. You
It's
can
very
also get this one is my favorite. So you can get quantized models for your GPUs that don't have a lot of video memory. So you can get by with like 4 gigs, 6, 8, 10, 12 gigs of RAM. Of course, it's very slow. You can get images in like 4 or 5 minutes, so you wait a bit, but you can do it, right? And if your computer isn't, if you don't use it by night, you just crank up that batch
fast.
number and produce images for whole night with wildcards and etc.
Nice. Can we take a look at one of these workflows on how actually like LoRa's fit in Comfy?
Yeah, sure. So
I love it. Beautiful.
So this is a really basic workflow, Flux workflow. I won't go through all nodes, but I'm just gonna correct the dimensions to 16 by 9. And yeah, the thing is, here is our LoRa node. And we connect the model and the clip to LoRa. And the thing is that we can also chain LoRa nodes. We just copy paste it, bring in the model, the clip. We change the
Send it
we
to other places.
that one. Yeah, exactly. We just see
Yeah.
where those things go. Clip, boom, model goes here. And there we can use multiple LoRa's. So for example, we need a high definition photo of Eskimo 80-year-old woman. So we will put this LoRa for ethnicity, and where is it? This one for skin quality. But we have to take care that these numbers, so strength model, we should definitely, if we use more LoRa's, we should drop down to like point 7, point 6,
Start.
because if we leave everything on one, the image tends to get overburnt, or what's
Mm.
the
Yeah, I like that word. It's too much. It's too much information going on. It tries to
yeah,
do everything.
yeah.
It's nice to start
So
easy.
it's a really fine balance how to work with the multiple LoRa's.
Mm.
All
Yeah, but
right.
just starting with one already, good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
So so yeah, when we're talking about comfy, there is also we showed you the
Also, just as a little like moment,
yeah.
uh, any questions? Like anyone
Oh
have
yeah,
thoughts,
yeah, sure, of course.
questions
Let's stop
that
for a
is
second.
on your mind? Like we've been talking a lot, and it's nice to check in, like how everyone is feeling about this. Like any thoughts that came up, because now we do want to cover a little bit about the training, how to train it. So now I have like examples of what people have made, how to use it. And now we just want to show you a bit of an overview of how you can make your own, because it is simpler than you might think, or it can also be more difficult than you might think. So yeah,
Yeah.
at this point, like if anyone has thoughts or questions, please do drop them. We are very happy to chat. Yeah. Other than that, mm, pretty good, man. Like Flux and Laura's. Flux has really been good. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And I like how accessible everything is becoming, just like for images and for videos.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about data set, how to prepare data set.
Let's do it.
Um, yeah, you take 10, 20, 30 images for objects or for faces. You can get by with 10, but with other complicated concepts like styles, you have to use more. Um,
There are a few.
so,
Sorry to interrupt you. John wrote that he was up all night in comfy, and it's his last cup of coffee. We appreciate it. We are glad you brought the coffee, man.
well, welcome to Comfy.
Jeremy, yeah. Jeremy also said, so far so good. Want to see what's next. CG, I have never created anything in Flux, so we add checkpoints same way as SDXL or SDN Comfy UI. It is a bit different, isn't it, than SDXL? If you
Yeah.
want, yeah.
No, it's actually the same. In Forge, you have to type in the LoRa and the weight, and in Comfy, you just use the note. I
Another.
don't have my Forge opened. I can open it if you we want to, but
No, no, no.
I
It's in Comfy. She is asking about Comfy.
oh okay. So you have LoRa loader.
Specifically about
Oh,
Flux, like how can you use Flux checkpoint as a checkpoint?
oh okay. So
Yeah,
you have load diffusion model node where you load your um, safe tensors. That's a model, and the type you can use default, and I use FP8. And then you have dual clip loader because Flux uses two clips. So this is the language which Flux operates with. So the first one is the second one is the one we already know from 1.5 and SDXL. It's called clip and uses tags for um, prompts. So usually we wrote there, one dog, brown hair, um, green background, etc. But with T5 clip, it's with T5, it's like more natural human language, and you can describe your stuff with it's like how you communicate with people.
getting very technical.
Sorry.
No, all good, man. Like it's nice to also explain the technicalities. But in
Yeah.
essence, like, do we add checkpoints the same way as the Excel or as the Comfy? More or less, you have a folder, you have a node,
Oh
and then
yeah.
you connect the nodes together. It's
Yeah.
just like these are the nodes and the folders. Which folder is it? Is it the UNet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There
So
was a couple more more comments just quickly.
okay.
Um,
Okay.
One another person, where's a good place to get started learning these tools in a structured course? That's a good question, because actually Luca and I are preparing that structured course for people, because it is nice to have a community where you can learn and also a project where you can work on. So that is something we are doing, and we will definitely like share more news as we build everything. But if you want to like learn these things, we are very keen on teaching, and just like send us a message and we can, have a chat and all these things. John, happy to join you. Thank you very much. I'm also glad. Also, Jeremy shared the OpenArt.ai workflows in Academy. Those are a
Yes.
great place to start, just for like
Yes.
basic, comfy workflows of text to image, image to image, IP adapters, control net. That is a great place to start.
Yeah. I
Steve
agree.
started with Flux last weekend, got stuck, didn't have the time to dig deeper yet. Welcome. We are glad you are here. I hope this helps. But yeah, it does, like setting it up in Comfy does take a little bit of time, but overall, yeah, it can get overwhelming. That's why also like having some structure and like following steps can become easier. Videos help, courses, guides, all of these things help. Jeremy shared another video, which I'm sure is great. And CG, you're most welcome. We are very happy to answer all of these questions, and thank you for asking them. It helps us all learn, I think. Moving on, do a little
So
bit of
think,
training.
yeah, continuing with data sets, you usually take 10 to 30 images of simple stuff like your face needs. Very simple.
Thank you.
Or complicated stuff like concepts like styles. So you need more than that. You need about 100 images, right?
I think that's a good spot. I think it also depends, like at this point. But I think earlier it was even more. Like I used to do it sometimes with 200, 300. It depends. I think the way I look at it, how difficult is your concept to communicate, right? Like a face will always be the same in any image. Like a product will always be kind of the same in every image, right? But when you come to a style or something more conceptual and abstract, communicating that becomes much more difficult, and that's why you need more information, you need more data to give to the AI, right?
Exactly. So this is how you prepare your stuff. So you have to, for example, I have 8 images, and you have to name them sequentially: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the thing is that with the image, you have to, or not. I'm an old school guy. I like to play it safe. Um, Put the text image where you put your trigger word and description. So my image is an object on a white background. So I don't need to put down the detailed description of my background. But if you have a complex background, it's very nice to describe it. So the model, when it learns, the model knows what's going on in the background and what is the object of interest. And the object of interest is always described with just uh, um, um, with a token, with a special token. And for example, if you're training helmet, you must never use the word helmet because there's the model is already trained on helmets and on word helmets. What you want to do is just use a couple of different options, like using 3 for ease and let's say 1 for L. And this is something that model doesn't have in its data set. So this is the word to describe your object of interest.
Mm.
So, and this is your data set. And what you can do with your data set, you have a couple of options. So, for example, we'll come back to Comfy, but for example, you have a couple of online tools like Fel. You just go train a Flux Lora, and you just pick a zip file, you upload it, you write in your trigger word. So, in my example, my trigger word was GF4N.
Fan.
Yeah, and iteration multiplier. You don't have to touch anything. You just press start and boom, that's it. And it works really, really good with faces.
especially for, yeah, for like easy concepts, like
Exactly.
those really are not that difficult to train. Like
No.
faces, like it's become very easy. Like even I think 2 years ago or whenever, like there was this like lens AI or something like that. I don't know. There was like an Instagram app or like a filter that said upload 10 portraits and it trained
Yeah.
your face. It was
Yeah.
not as good as Flux, but still, like faces are fairly easy.
Yeah. So the next service is replicate, and it's the same stuff. You know, you select a model, you input images, trigger word. You can use auto captions, so you don't even need to prepare your descriptions. You just upload your images, and LLM in the background will create your captions. And how many steps do you want to train it with? And the learning rate. Nate, you want to explain what's the learning rate?
No.
Okay, let's go. It's just a number that you use, that how good the model is learning. Okay, so how fast is it learning? You can you can get by with zero point zero 0.04, and it will be really really fast, but it can also skip a lot of details in the image, or you can go to 0.0004, and it will take some more time to analyze all the details, right? So if you
Yeah.
have detailed detail, what do I have a problem with this word, concept? If you
Oh,
have a detailed concept, then definitely use the slower learning rate.
yeah, for sure.
And yeah, API. You don't want to go there unless if you really know what you're doing, and just press create training. Um,
Mainly, I would say have the data set, have the token chosen, the trigger word, and then yeah, the learning rate I think is also very nice because you can control how detailed it's gonna be. Um, but other than that, like how many steps and epochs, other than that, I think there's not. This is a nice place to start, I would say. Basically,
exactly.
like
Yeah,
before getting into comfy and like training with the rest, it's a nice place to start.
yeah. Definitely start with Fel, or the replicate, or with Civet Eye, of course. I mean, you get all the good stuff on Civet Eye, and you can train your LoRa as well. So when you come to Civet Eye, there's announcement, and you can get directly to super fast training, and it's pretty self-explanatory. You can train character, so face, or your favorite actor, or your
Sketchy.
whatever. Yeah, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I no, I
Favorite person.
definitely see it. Like we all like train on things that are not like exactly ours. But I do think like take a moment to just consider how like taking things from people will affect them before training, right?
Exactly. Or so you can train a style or a concept. So objects, clothing, anatomy, poses, and so on. And next you want to do is put in your name. So for example, test, go next. And again, you just drag your files inside. Boom. And it will ask you, do you want to create tag captions or captions? Okay. So this is tag is preferred for SD models. Remember when I told you about the clip and the T5? Well, it's a difference.
Okay, a
So
moment. A couple of questions here that I think we should answer
okay,
at this point because they are a bit accumulating. First, there was when learning AI art, I have a concern that things move so fast. Is there a set of foundational topics that should be learned and which can then be applied? Yes, for sure. Like I personally talk a lot about that, Luca as well. I think that is maybe a different topic than our session today. But yeah, happy to chat. Just send us a message. I think that's the best way to answer this. Second one, I assume there's a specific models for different types of groups. For for different types or groups of objects besides faces. In what do you mean? Specific models? So there are LoRa's that are trained on different types or groups of objects, different concepts, different styles. As we showed earlier, like there's like the icon style, like the photography, amateur photography. Those are all models that have been trained on something other than a face. But the face is just an easy way to start. So like if you want to start exploring like training, I think a face is just a nice way to do it. Ramon said interesting. I 100% agree. It is very, very interesting. Next one. So in the 3D ecosystem, you can purchase 3D models. In the Comfy ecosystem, are there model systems for purchase rent? Do you mean GPUs? If you mean that, then yes. Like that is like the service as well. Like both like Runware, the like company I work for, and Fall and Replicate. Like this is all like service where you can use another company's system, right? So you can rent or purchase their system, and you can do with it whatever the functionality you want, right? Similarly, like RunPod is also a service where you can rent the GPUs, as Luca said earlier. Um, so you can just rent GPU and do whatever you want with it, right? If that's what you meant with this question. If not, just like please let us know. Aditya, will there be an option to rewatch the recording there? Yes, of course. It's the same link, or even on YouTube. We will leave the links to everything we talk about here, and I'll usually reply to all the comments, so you have like the links like already. It would be good to have actual time specifications, slower, faster, qualitative. So how long does it take, like, to train a LoRa, Luca?
So in Civid
Civet Eye.
You can train the LoRa in 4 minutes.
Four
Uh,
minutes.
yeah,
4 minutes.
you will need buzz. Yeah,
Okay.
because they're renting really high grade GPUs, but
Mm.
you will need buzz. This is the currency which you get training, you reward your artists, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so the quick 4 minute LoRa, it takes about 3,000 buzz, and 5,000 buzz is about $5. So for $3, you get the LoRa in 4 minutes. I think that's a steal. Yeah,
Wow, that is just honestly wow. Um,
exactly.
there was one more question before we move forward. Are you
Yeah,
training for static imagery, or does this include movement? These are for static, so this is for images.
technical. Exactly. Yeah. So the thing is, you can do your own captions, or you can create auto label. So you don't need to create those texts, but I do because I like to have more control.
Hmm.
And when you're done with that, just I own the rights to all these images, press next. It will upload archive. And yeah, the rapid training is currently 40% off. So you can get your LoRa's really, really cheap. And when you are done with everything, you just press submit and boom,
Then boom, magic.
yeah,
Wow,
you're done.
wow.
And of course, if you want to go really, really deep into it, you can go to RumPod, and here you have very, very specific. You can rent. Let's You can rent your own GPU. For example, I tested this one, 80 gigs of VRAM for $3.5 per hour. And usually when I train LoRa, it takes about 4 hours. But with this one, I usually rent this one, which is really cheap and really good, 48 gigs of RAM. But I really wanted to see how quick do I create LoRa with H100. And A40 takes about 4 hours with 3,000 steps. H100 took about 45 minutes for same settings. So if you are in hurry, just rent the more expensive one and you're good to go. And if you want to, I don't want to get too deep into it, but if you want to learn more about RUMPOT stuff, uh,
Mhm.
go to Andrea Baioni YouTube, and he will explain everything: how you use RUMPOT, how you prepare your data set, so like everything. And he will also explain how to do the configuration for training. And with this one, you have the most control possible, so you can select all the data, all the steps, all the epochs, how many saved, everything. And he also have a cookie, which is training your LoRa with one image. And he
That
goes
is
even, yeah, that's sick. And he goes even deeper, where he tells about how to train your LoRa with just selected layers of Flux model. So Flux model is like lasagna, and he uses this example with many, 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 many layers. And the thing is that not all of the layers are used in LoRa training, but it goes through all the layers. And you can actually select just like 3 or 4 layers and just use those 4 layers, and your training happens like instantly. I mean, not instantly, but like in, instead of 4 hours, you use like 40 minutes. Do the different GPUs affect quality other than speed? No, definitely not. The
mm,
quality is affected only by your settings and nothing, and the data
it,
set, of
yeah.
course. Yeah.
There was another question. Hi, Roman. Is there a recommended minimum and maximum number of images to use, or is the image tagging description more important? So in general, like the amount of images depends on what you're training. So this is what we also mentioned earlier, that like for faces, that's a very simple one at this point. I think 15 images is well enough to train a face at this point. And then when you get into the more complex concepts, like a style, when you want to really communicate a style, maybe 100 images, maybe 200 images. It comes to the point. The way I like to think of it conceptually is like, how will I communicate this to the AI? This being a style, and a style like is a difficult thing to communicate even to a human being, right? Like it's the colors, it's the lines, it's all of these things. So you need a lot of different like information that you need to communicate. So yeah, that's kind of like the general idea. And the other part of the question is, the image tagging description more important? I would
Not anymore. With Flux, not anymore.
okay.
And as we've told you, the thing is that you don't have to create captions anymore, because we have LLMs that create captions for you. And the thing is that LLMs and Flux, they talk to each other perfectly. And almost no one I know creates prompts from their heads. Everybody uses LLMs for prompts. Yeah,
God, but
I mean,
I
I know
would.
I know
Mm,
for a fact that a lot of A-list artists, top of artists, they have their own GPT trained, and they train it for every project. They train their own GPT agent and use it for the project.
I that is the exact thing I have been teaching for the longest time. First of all, I'm very excited to build the course together. It's gonna be freaking great because we have a lot of fun stuff to teach. But I think like there is definitely like start with LLMs. I always like set up an assistant. I set up. I run it locally as well. I guess we're getting into LLMs at the moment, just a little bit, because there was also a question. Do you have any tips on which LLM is better for captioning? Um, Personally, I love Claude. I think Claude is absolutely excellent, just like my personal preference. But please, Luca, do share. Which one do you like for captioning?
Yeah, Florence too, which you can use locally, and it's brilliant for images. It's just insane. The level of details that this thing picks up from images is just, it's just magic. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
I think so. Something I would add here is that, yeah, I think it is nice to just have this setup where like LLM does the captioning and tagging for you. But I think that like human like supervision and touch is valuable. Like in any point, it is valuable. Even in training, it is valuable. Even in like generating images, it is valuable. You can't just go paste a prompt from like LLM into an image generator, get an image. But if you don't like read it and add like what is that special unique thing for you, it's the same with captioning. I think you can have a caption, but like it will be generic. Like you need to like actually modify, you need to have the style, you need to have the personality in it. And that's why I think like it's always nice to kind of just do a human pass. Like whatever you're doing, do a human pass at the end, just to like make sure it aligns with what you actually want to do.
Yeah, I usually just copy paste it. I don't look at my prompt, and then when I see the image, yeah, it looks amazing. Or if it's missing something, then I look at the prompt,
Yes,
and
yes,
then I start fine tuning it.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I usually always, I don't refine it before. I'm just like copy paste until I'm like, oh, this is something interesting. Now, okay, let me see what I actually want to do here, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is actually, this looks more terrifying than it is. You can leave everything. This is comfy LoRa trainer, and if you have a good GPU, I mean, it doesn't have to be the best GPU. You can get by with 8 or 10 gigs. But if you leave everything untouched, you will get LoRa out of this. You also have notes, and everything is put in here and is explained really nicely. But of course, you do need all of those models. So like dev and VAE and clips and T5 safe tensors. But that's everything. You can do it in download in Manager. You just go to install me some custom codes, um, and installed and
Manager,
go
yeah.
with the model manager and just install them in here. You can do everything now in Comfy Manager, which is
Mm.
brilliant.
It is though an undertaking. Like you need to build the whole house more or less before you can start introducing the individual models in it.
Yeah,
But once you have it, and it, of course, like if you have a good GPU and you take the time to build this, I mean, you're kind of free. You can do whatever you want.
yeah. But the thing is, I mean, my GPU is 16 gigs. I don't have 24, but I rarely use it for training my computer because I also have other projects. So I'm usually using ROMpod for my trainings.
And that's
Uh,
also the thing. It can just run in the background, right? And you can,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
just
Yeah.
like rendering, right? Like
Yeah.
outsourcing to render farms. Like,
Exactly. You just rent a render farm so you don't abuse your computer.
yeah.
All right. Do we have
All
any
right.
more questions?
Well, sorry.
Do we have any more questions?
That is my question as well. Any questions or thoughts or comments? This was a great freaking session, yo. We did go through a lot. I think it's also nice to cover like the basic first and then show like the simple way to train and then the options to train more. So anyone who is interested in more, send a message to Luca or me, however you feel. We are very happy to help you. We are very happy to just chill and hang out. There is a comment. It'll be great to have a GUI with artistic tools for these creative AI tools. Um,
Well, it's there are rumors that Comfy is getting a large cosmetic procedure.
ooh,
Yeah,
cosmetic procedure.
yeah.
Curious how that.
I'm,
Uh,
I'm still sure that it will keep the node-based
mm,
system,
yeah,
but yeah, they're up to something. But yeah,
nice.
there are some of UIs that you can use on Comfy. For example, both replicate and fal. I know for a fact that they're using Comfy under the hood. And if we take a look at workflows, let's say image to video, you will have the comfy UI.
Mhm.
So there you go, and you can even delete everything, and you start building your own nodes. Your own workflows.
This is interesting, yeah, like how many products are actually building on top of comfy workflows, like actually building on top of comfy workflows as architecture. um,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think like the other option are APIs, um, but it's interesting, yeah, how integral comfy is becoming to this whole ecosystem.
Yeah. It is. It is. I mean,
um, mm,
it's the best. It's the best
gen-
UI out there. The most. I mean, you can do anything with it. Just anything.
it genuinely is, and it's super fun. Honestly, it's very comfy.
Yeah.
Okay, Mohit said Lava is open source. Okay. Um, and this has been great. Definitely the best on this topic. Highly appreciate it. We are glad you enjoyed it. At least I'm glad you enjoyed it. Apologies for the newbie questions. Never.
No,
Questions
no,
are
no, no,
always
no, no, no. Bring them. Bring them
absolutely
on. Bring them on.
excellent. And
Yeah.
I love when people ask questions, man.
Yeah.
Makes my day, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
There's one workflow, so it directly to captioning. Oh, Mohit mentioned that like Lava has there's a workflow with Lava that does directly captioning. Is that what you meant? Probably, I think. But yeah, I think wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's.
thank you for joining, everyone. I appreciate your time. We hope you learned something. We hope you explore that some curiosity has been piqued. Thank you for the questions, for participating. Definitely fun one. I think this is also very on trend. Like as accessible as this is, like everyone will be jumping on this sooner or later. So you might as well be one of the first and just jump on it and get into it, right?
Yeah, and we're saying that, let's just repeat that we are preparing an extensive course for AI, for visual part of AI, and also some LLMs and that kind of stuff. The whole pack, so you can start producing your own stuff with AI.
This,
And if you
this,
are interested, drop us a DM, and let's talk. Let's talk.
yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, the number of participants will be limited. So yeah, if you are interested, just drop us a DM, and let's talk.
Yeah, I think our goal is just to train the next generation of leaders.
Yeah,
I think AI is a very important topic, and every like environment, like creative environment, will be adopting AI. So it's nice to kind of have it with a human touch of just recognizing what is important. But yeah, there's one more question that I might read, and after that, genuinely signing off. My concern with using creative AI are that misses are part of the workflow. If we can reduce or remove the requirement to do lots of tweaks, then it'll be great. I think that we already can. Like there is a goal to like reduce the time from idea to the output from Gen AI, and definitely like that's the whole point of practice, like creating projects and working on these things. All right, the explorations continue, Steve. I agree. Thank you all. I appreciate your time. Thank you, Luca. Damn, thanks for prepping all the
thank you
things.
guys.
Oh, the
And
tabs. Look at the tabs. Oh my God. Thank you.
all right, we'll be seeing you what next week? 14 days.
Possibly, yeah, either next week or in 14 days.
All right.
We have a topic of ethics that we want to do. Uh,
Yes.
that one I think is a great topic to do. We are both very like involved in this, just in our work as well, of how does AI fit legally, ethically, and morally into our work life and society. So
Yeah.
we want to do a bit of a conversation on that as well. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, yeah, just keep tuned. We'll make the posts and updates as usual. All right. Have a wonderful day.